extreme off-road. Round 8 of the ABSA Off-Road Championship is presented by Ford and Carnival City. After more than 5,000 kilometers of racing in no less than 7 different races throughout South Africa and Southern Africa, it's finally come down to this. It's the Ford Carnival City 400, and they start off with a prologue over 3 kilometers and then out on the road for another punishing 48. The prologue starts over my left shoulder here, and it will certainly ask all the interesting questions. Questions such as, will Hannes Grobler win the National Drivers' Championship? Will Toyota pip Nissan for the manufacturer's title? And who will win the 6 classes that still have not had a clear-cut winner emerging from them? Will the by now traditional rain at the annual event make things interesting again? And then there was that championship question for points leader Alfie Cox.
Yeah, look, the championship's been a good one for me the whole year, and we've had quite a few wins, I think 3 or 4 wins. But it's down to the last race, and sure, I don't have to win the race. I'm 3 points in the lead, so Hannes has got to win. But if I come second to him or just finish behind him, so there's that old story about sticking to a guy like whatever to a blanket. That's obviously what's going to happen at this race, and the championship is more important. I mean, to win an overall off-road championship, last year the Class D, but you know, this year to have the chance to win the overall would be really great. I mean, it's something that we've worked hard all year to do, and I just hope that the race goes like it's been for the rest of the year, sure.
Hannes, it's obviously a very big race, but you've been in this scenario before, 2001, 2002, you've been here before, so you know what to do.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this race. It's always nice to get to the end of the year, and you know that you're going to fight for the championship on the last race. You know, it's good for the spectators, for everybody involved, for the sport as well, and I think everybody is going to enjoy it tomorrow.
I find it amazing. The last time I was involved in the sport, it's evolved immensely from the last 10, 15 years. What's different for you from, let's say, 15 years ago to today?
You know, you can't really compare it because the technology grew so much, you know. I mean, it's like Formula 1. You've got small engines now that makes the same horsepower as what we made 10 years ago, you know, and also the suspensions are 100 times better, you know. So the cars have got smaller engines, but they're a lot faster, you know, and I'm very glad to be still involved in it and to be able to drive the cars with the new technology.
Manfred, it's all come down to this end of the season and a lot to play for.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult for me now. You know, all you have to do is finish. Ford is sponsoring the event. It would be nice for the sponsors and for all the Ford supporters, you know, to be up in front. But unfortunately, one has to look at the bigger picture. We're out here to win the championship for the year. And basically all you have to do is finish, and that's what you're going to go for.
The route here, what are your thoughts? Because I know they've changed it, but the terrain is the same, and it is a terrain which can hurt the car and driver.
Yeah, I found out last year, we took a whole front suspension off, hit some rocks, so you know all about all the rocks and everything. Yeah, but you know, now not having any pressure to win the class, you know, we can take it relatively easy in the rough sections, and then on the fast section you'll be going fast, and then over the rocky you'll just going over very cautiously.
That's a solid tactic. For others like Cliff Whiteholt, who had a big prang in Cape Town early in the season, it was a welcome return to racing.
Well, actually, to be honest, we haven't done much testing with the vehicle now, so we actually finished it last night. But all the small stuff takes time, so but it's good to be back. We're not very good spectators. We're going to just go and test this year because we've got nothing to prove. So hopefully it'll go well.
Toyota's Gavin Cronje has had an up and down season, or should that be a rock and roll season?
Well, it's been very up and down. We mid part of the season we were leading the championship, and going into Lesotho we had a bit of a roly-poly, and that's really put us on the back foot for the rest of the season. We had a misfortune at Lydenburg, but certainly the last event of the year, and we want to go out with the glory, so we're going to try our best.
Take us back to Lydenburg, give us some detail of what happened.
Well, we had a really good first day, second day, very open section, and we really struggled with the mainline speed, and the third day we knew we had to push in the rough, and unfortunately we hit a rock in the wrong place and took a front wheel off, so that was us out.
How hard was that on the car? Have you had to virtually rebuild?
They've had to do some strengthening on the front left of the car, and we're fairly confident that the job done is as good as ever, and my team did a great job, and I'm sure we'll be out there full swing.
Full swing is what a lot of drivers had in mind as they prepared for the prologue. In the production car class, it was Cox and Ralph Pitchford who were leading by those 4 points from Grobler and his co-driver Francois Jordan. It was a two-horse race at the top, but only one category, Class B, had been won. 6 of them were looking for new owners. For Terence Marsh and his navigator Michael Whitehouse, it's been a long season.
Yeah, it's right. 7 events later, throughout South Africa, a couple of neighbouring states, 5,000 kilometres of racing, and here we are, the final one. It's going to be a humdinger.
It's amazing that it does come down to this right at the end of all of that racing.
Yeah, I think as I always say in our to sponsors and supporters, and that is that 8 hours of racing and 500 kilometres, and it works out in seconds. So the same thing has happened over the season. It's come right down to the wire.
Mike, I want to know from you, how hard is he to work for, and the hardest seat, I should say?
They say it's a difficult seat to be in, but the nice thing about Terence is everything is about a calculation, and our strategy is let the race come to us, which is obviously we're going to do this weekend, but we're going to pedal a bit, but we're most excited.
What is the strategy for the prologue, to put us in the picture there?
Well, the bottom line is the prologue is we're going to try and finish up in front of Nick Harper, and then he has to race us, and we can dictate the pace from the front. So we'll see how it goes.
For Ernest Corbett and his nav Warwick Goosen, the strategy was completely the opposite.
Go as fast as I can.
For as long as you can.
For as long as I can.
But that's obviously not easy to do in this terrain.
I'm not sure about what it's going to be like out there. I think it's going to be quite rough. But with these cars, it's actually a bit of a goma. So, but I go definitely as fast as I can. It's the last race of the season. So, it doesn't matter if we break something, really.
But Corbett Sr.'s attitude was very different to his son Mark, who had some new horses under the bonnet.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this race. We had a good run last year, winning overall. So we rate our chances here. We've got a new engine in the car for this race. After Leidenberg, we blew the motor because the throttle stuck. But we're going to have good fun today.
The route is obviously a very taxing one. How do you approach that, particularly on the second day?
The route is very much suited to a special vehicle here, with quite rough. There's quite a few copies we've got to go through, and hopefully we can give the production vehicles a run for their money.
And all told, the South African off-road scene in very good health at the moment, it seems.
It seems to be. The guys are buying new cars all the time. The second-hand cars are selling, the new cars are selling, so it's looking really healthy for next year, definitely.
And at the end of all of this, do you see yourself as the South African champion?
You've got to see yourself doing something, otherwise you're not going to make it. But we'll see what happens at the end of the day.
Evan, as they would say in the casino, no more bets, all done.
Yeah, we're very happy about it. We managed to wrap up our championship at the last event, so fortunately for us, no pressure. We can really sit down and enjoy the event, which doesn't mean we're going to hold back at all. In fact, what I'm going to do is really going to give it a full go, because we've got nothing to lose. We don't have to worry about conserving the car or trying to take it easy or not breaking anything. So we're going to give it a full go, and we're going to see how if we can really go and mix it with the big boys. At the same time, I see there are many of the big boys out here today. All the big guns are out here. So it's going to make for some interesting racing. But we're having a good weekend. We're having a fun weekend. We've got a lot of family and friends around, so we've been able to enjoy it without that pressure. We're very happy about that.
As we take in an aerial view of the impressive complex at Carnival City just outside Blackburn, the battle in the special vehicles with Marsh and Whitehouse, who had a slender 8-point lead over the Harpers, with Clint Gibson and Marcel Trethry in good nick in the last few weeks, coming off a fine showing in Leidenberg.